Hey guys and girls, it's Frank Schwartz. How you guys doing? It's another great show of What the Frank. A lot of stuff going on and trending today, so let's jump right into it. Troy Vincent, NFL executive. You messed up. There's leaked audio that he promised a 2-game suspension for Adrian Peterson, and instead, of course, we all know that it was a bit messier than a 2-game suspension. The audio tells a bit more behind the scenes of what things are talked about and what people don't want released to the general public. That would be you and me. See, we're stupid, and we don't know that they do these things behind the scenes. And then we're shocked when these things are released and we find out that there's shoulder rubbing, some back rubbing, maybe a kiss on the cheek to make deals that help the profit and not so much the player or the situation they're in. See, we know these things happen. We're not stupid. They happen in our lives. Negotiation's part of living. So don't be surprised, guys. It's just, people are surprised that, the running back, after doing what he allegedly did, was only supposed to be suspended 2 games, and of course, it hasn't been just 2 games. So let's move on. Victoria, Texas. A cop tasers an old man during a traffic stop. Check out the video. I know we're scrutinizing the hell out of the police. I want you to remember, police are humans. They're just trained in a different job. It's just like, we're not all accountants. Accountants make mistakes. Yes, there are lives at danger. These guys should be constantly trained, constantly monitored. No cover-ups, transparency, but they're cops. They're in the position because we put them there. There are some old men who could kick some asses, okay? Especially these young rookie cops and things. They're not all they think they are. But children and elderly need to be looked after a tad bit more than, maybe folks my age or younger. I don't know. Check out the video. Let me know what you think. We'll have more on this, I'm sure, as the police are always under their new cameras and body cameras, which I think they all should have. And, we should scrutinize them as much as they scrutinize us. So, this is a tough one, guys. There's a high school student in New York who supposedly has made $72 million in the stock market hedging on oil and gold. I've seen a bunch of reports. I've read a bunch of them. I don't know if I'm believing this shit yet. It doesn't seem... It's missing something. It's missing something important. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe he did. But I'm not even sure a 17-year-old kid's allowed to do what he did. I don't know. I don't know what the law is, but I would pretty much think that buying stocks is a contract, and under a contract, he has to be an adult, and that would either make what he did not contractually, such as the payout, would not be contractual, or his losses, if he was to lose money, wouldn't be contractual, unless he was buying through an adult, which would have to be his parents or guardian. I don't know. Something just seems fishy that this kid, in a very short period of time, is able to pull in $72 million. Something's not ringing true in my mind, but okay. Now, Barbara Walters, who I think is extremely insignificant, especially now in news, she does fluff pieces. That's all she does. Fluff. Pure fluff, and most of it's crap. She is picking the most influential people of 2014, and she picks George Clooney's wife as fascinating and influential. She's an activist, but did you hear of her? Did you know about her before George Clooney started dating her and then married her? I didn't. No idea who the fuck she was. But obviously, George Clooney knows her. They're in Europe together. Now they're married. You think Barbara Walters is kissing Clooney's ass or her ass just to be a little bit closer to the spotlight? I do, because there's a lot more people, a lot more significant people than Amal, at least in our realm of the United States, that should have gotten a little bit more recognition than pop stars, everyday politicians, and an actor's wife. Again, my opinion, and that's the only one that matters. Charlotte Hornets looking to trade Lance Stephenson after 23 games. How bad are you that after playing 23 games, your team wants to get rid of you? It says that Lance Stevens becomes eligible to be traded Monday, and his new team is indeed exploring the options to move him, according to sources. Yeah, you're gone, buddy. You're gone. Sorry. Sydneyseige, Australia gunman holds up. Could be Islamists, could not be, not sure. He was killed. He killed two. It went like almost 24 hours, 16 hours. Two hostages dead and him. Some escaped. Tragic. Sorry, Australia, that something like this happened. But it ties in with another story that Australians are telling the world and Muslims and such that they're not afraid of Muslims or Islam and that they'll ride with them and they'll be around them and everything, which I think is awesome. Australia, you guys are some badasses, man. Keep moving forward. I don't get why we're having all these shootings and shit. It's not the gun, it's the people, and it's a time of year where it gets kind of depressing for some and very joyful for others. And I wish they'd reach out and get help and not start hurting other people's lives. Gun control is not going to do it. It's people control, guys. The price of oil, boom, dropping. We actually had here in Phoenix, Arizona, we actually had gas for $1.99 if you paid cash. If you wanted credit, it was $2.09 a gallon. And that was this morning. That was awesome. $1.99. It's almost $2 cheaper than it was a couple weeks ago. Crazy talk. And Rand Paul, senator from Kentucky, wants to introduce a bill that overturns Obama's immigration reform, which is it's crazy talk. The immigration reform that the president did wasn't reform at all. Go read it. I've delved into some of it, not the whole thing, but what they put on the whitehouse.gov website. Read it. It's not a reform bill at all. It gives a little bit of maneuvering and makes some of our immigrants feel better about maybe they're moving closer to citizenship. Sadly, they're going to squash it. I believe in open borders. There's not Mexicans terrorizing us. The drug dealers, they've been coming and going since the 70s, and they're going to keep coming and going until we legalize drugs or get control over that. The biggest war we've ever had is the war on drugs, and it's the least successful war that we've ever had. These wars are for cash, and the cash goes for other things. What happens to all the drugs that we've been seizing? I have a bet that most of them don't get destroyed. I have a bet that they probably get pushed back out into the open market. We're using them to take care of issues that we may have. Hell, never know. We may be selling drugs to the Chinese for the debt that we owe them. Texas is considering repealing the law banning open carry with guns. Good. Bad guys know that somebody in that store is carrying a gun. More than likely, they're not robbing that store. They also don't carjack people who have guns in their cars. I feel bad for criminals because we're taking back our streets and we're doing it legally like we were promised. No, not everybody should have a gun, and yes, I know we've had school shootings and everything else, but overall, the right to bear arms, the right to carry with the proper training. I live in Arizona. We have people at Walmart have a .45 strapped to their waist, walking around buying eggs and bacon and butter and stuff. You know not to mess with them. They're going to shoot you. Let them get their milk. Let them check out. Let them get in their car. Let them leave. Don't fuck with them. That's it. You have a right to bear arms. You're allowed to have a gun. If you're legally able to carry a gun, carry it. You're legally able to defend yourself. Defend yourself. That's just the way it is. Let a police officer know that you have a weapon on you, and they will respect you as long as you're licensed to carry it and you know what you're doing. So welcome to the big leagues, Texas. I was surprised to find out you guys didn't have an open carry permit. So welcome in. And Martin Freeman, well, the Hobbit, The Office, all this stuff, whatever. I don't care. Listen, guys, there's a lot going on in the world. You gotta look at it from a sense of, not morality, but a sense of right and wrong. Yes, it's morals, but I mean, do you want to be able to protect yourself? Well, everybody else should be able to too. A good life lesson is just don't be a dick. That's just the way you should live your life. Don't be a dick. Be honest with people. Don't try to steal from them. There was a thing on Amazon in Europe. European Amazon. There were items that, because of a flaw, they were a penny, and people bought them. And once it was found out, Amazon shut it down, and there are companies that lost a shitload of money because of a mistake. Do you jump on it thinking, oh, it's a great deal, but then you find out that it was an error, and you go, hey, you know what, that was a mistake, that's cool, don't worry about it. Or do you say, fuck them, I'm taking it because, they made the mistake, mistake and I was good enough to see it and I took advantage of it. Well, what's the right thing to do? Of course, buy it. But when you find out that it was a mistake, wouldn't you go back and say, I screwed up? I mean, if you wrote a check for $100 and your bank cashed it for $10,000, wouldn't you want them to fix that? You didn't put a decimal in the right spot. They cashed it out for $10,000. That's what you wrote. You screwed up. What if you're paying your bills online and you put 40, but you hit 400 and they pay it? Wouldn't you want that mistake to be fixed for you? What's good for them is good for us. What's good for you is good for me. If you got a deal, if you're in Europe and you got a deal like that, and these companies are about to lose their asses, maybe write them a message and say, hey, why don't we cancel this order? I was going to buy it anyways. I'll just buy it at the price. You never know. They may just say, fuck it. Take it. It's cool. We appreciate you. Or you may never get your item because they're bankrupt. I don't know. I'd be wondering if there was a mistake like that. I would hope that people would help me out. Again, only you know what's right and wrong for you and your family and, your life. But I think if everybody tried to live a better life, a more honest life, a more helpful life, and shit probably wouldn't be the way it is today. Everybody's out to get theirs. Hey, believe me, I know what it's like to hustle. I know what it's like. I hustle every day, but I don't hustle to hurt anymore. I hustle to help. And there's a big difference. It doesn't take any extra time to reach your hand out and help somebody up. You don't have to throw money at it. You just have to give them a hand. Help them over that little creek they're trying to cross in their life that just may be the last one they need to cross. And they'll remember you when the shit's good for them. Or you leave them on the other side of that river and they're stuck, and they'll remember you then too. Except they might get across on their own and go, you know what? You fucked me. You weren't willing to help me. I'm not willing to help you. And it may just be a time that you really, really, really need some help. Something to think about. Not trying to get all morality on you, just trying to keep up with the trends. But there's a lot in this world that can be fixed just by not being a dick. Listen, I want you to subscribe. Check us out on Facebook. Check out any other episodes that we've had. Let us know what you like and what you don't like in the comments. Tell your friends about us. Check out our Facebook page, and again, subscribe. I'm Frank Schwartz. This is What the Frank. I'll see you tomorrow.